Well, here we are in for another treat. I'm excited about this. We're coming for live from an ice storm in Tennessee. Is the incredible Abigail Tiefenthaler, and she is in the lobby of this building where she has internet connection right now. So we are talking about like in the trenches right now, full love on for you today. She is known, by the way, as the launch and leverage strategist and is the co-founder of LMS, which is a marketing service agency that works with professional coaches who are ready to make 6 and 7 figures consistently. I like that. And we're talking about money figures, not physical figures, FYI.
Correct.
Right. At 4 o'clock in the morning, that's the most fun I can probably come up with at the moment. She honed her strategic branding and marketing skills on Fortune 100 clients and saw that happier clients happen when team members worked on their specific expertise, which is always fun to do. Today, Abigail and her partner, Tammy Cray, did I pronounce that right? Is it Cray or Crea?
Mm-hmm.
Did it right? Yay. Okay. Bring the best of brand strategy and marketing implementation so their clients can go from practitioner to business owner. And I am thrilled to have her here, given the dynamics of ice storm in Tennessee. Sounds really romantic to me. So, well, welcome, Abigail.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you. Yeah, this has been interesting because I'm actually visiting my husband, who's got a 13-week travel nursing assignment. And so we have this cute little apartment who just been struggling with the internet since he arrived. So I got the landlord to finally give me some space, and this was the best he could do. He said, nobody's working today, so go ahead. But as my husband was coming home from the hospital this morning, he said there was ice everywhere because I was going to go to a coffee shop. So I guess it's nice that I don't have to get out.
Yes, that's absolutely for sure. And I got to tell you, you're bringing back to memories from a few years ago. My mother and I would travel when we could travel. We did a couple months, and we did a month in Israel and a month in Portugal. I remember having to do a webinar when I was in Israel, and my mom's like, well, this is Israel. We're gonna have great internet here. And we were relatives in a town called Nahariya. I'm like, oh, it'll be awesome. Well, it was like 2 gigabits up and 2 gigabits down. It was pathetically bad. And I was like, yes. I'm doing a webinar, it's my business. So I had to run to an online coffee shop, and the internet wasn't much better. And on top of that, it was really noisy because it was the online coffee shop.
Right, exactly.
So
it's, the laptop lifestyle is sometimes not all it's cracked up to be. But for most of us who are entrepreneurs, home-based business owners, I've been doing it for 24 years. So it's an opportunity to really say, you know what, sometimes perfection is not worth the effort because sometimes you have to do. So, as a marketing person, I often tell people it's imperfect actions beats perfect in action every day of the week.
Amen. Well, it's funny because we're shipped. And by the way, you guys, we're literally meeting each other right now. So, so this is kind of, we're doing a getting to know you, which is kind of cool. I have a lot of my students where they want the perfection, and I'm like, it's not perfect, but it is, and that's really the watchword. It's get the message out. If they don't know who you are, it doesn't matter. You can't do version 2.0 until 1.0 has been out there.
Well, and it's interesting because we say to our clients, because we work with them, we provide a lot of done for you services. We provide some done with you services as a part of Launches Made Simple. And the thing we will tell them is their first webinar, their first download, whatever their first is, and their 5th, 7th, 12th, 25th are going to bear nothing to, in terms of resemblance other than, oh, that was coined by me or penned by me. So it is a matter of getting out there. And what I want to talk about today a little bit is the idea that when we embrace the concept of being a business owner, we're getting out on our own. Now, all of a sudden, we want to start doing, right? Because we are told imperfect action is the way to go. And I agree, but I'm going to share with you 3 shortcuts that will kind of almost seem counterintuitive, but will actually make that action less imperfect. Still imperfect, but less imperfect.
I love it.
So you want me to get started? Am I ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Honey, I was born ready.
Okay. Me too. That's what my mom and dad always said. So, I grew up in an advertising household. I was really, really lucky. My dad was a madman. Actually, 1960s, BBD&O, just like Bewitched and just like the AMC series Mad Men. My mom was also an entrepreneur, a home-based entrepreneur in the early 60s. And she wasn't involved in direct sales. She actually ran a fulfillment business. So there was a lot of shop talk going on at the dinner table. And, I grew up in this industry. I have a degree in marketing. I have a master's in strategic management with an emphasis in strategic marketing. And so that's why I'm a leverage and launch strategist, is because strategy to me is everything. The benefit of teaming up with a partner like Tammy is that we get to implement as well. So we provide end-to-end campaign services. But here's the first shortcut that I can tell you, is that a little strategy goes a long way. And what do I mean by that? We forget that strategy comes in a lot of different sizes and shapes. I'm not saying you have to go create that 57-page SCORE business plan and fill out all of those things, but you do need to have a plan of action. You do need to have a business strategy that you can create a goal from, a vision from, and kind of make a connection to it on a personal, visceral, soulful, heartful, and headful manner, right? You've got to know where you want to go. And that's a part of your business strategy. Where do you want to go? How much do you want to make? How do you want to spend your day working? What are the key elements of your non-negotiables? And what do you see happening, right? What type of change do you want to impact in this world on a one-to-one basis, on a group basis, on a hundreds of thousands, major impact? From that business strategy, you're going to go into a brand strategy. And that's my sweet spot. It is where, there's a lot of branding experts out there, and they're all, most of them are good, right? Let's assume they're all good. I'm going to do that abundance, no scarcity. They're all good. I really focus on strategy as it relates to the who, what, where, when, why, and how. And we come to it at a pretty intensive level. I don't think you can come up with a brand in an hour. I don't think you can come up with a brand in a week. I think your brand is your soul of your business. So it's always evolving. And if you don't do the strategic work to identify the who, what, where, when, why elements of your business, when you get to marketing, which is really the execution and the tactics, you're going to struggle. You're going to create paths to nowhere. You're going to have bright, shiny object syndrome. You're going to, stop 4 feet from gold. So before the tactic is the strategy.
Yeah.
And it is probably, because it's a hard deliverable, it's probably one of the hardest things to do. It's also something that needs to be done every 90 days. You want to look strategically, are you on course? Does your brand strategy match your business strategy? Does your business strategy, is the execution working in alignment with those, right? So your brand strategy addresses who I am, what I do, and why I do it. That's the you part of the business. And it's really important to be connected to that, because your business strategy is requiring you to go out to goal. And you're going to have challenges getting to that goal as times throughout the journey. If you're not connected, you're in trouble. Then you want to know who you're doing it for, why they need it, and why they're willing to pay for it. You're an entrepreneurial coach, you're a service-based business owner, you're in business to make money. So you've got to know why they're willing to pay for it now. Why is this problem so pressing in their life that they're willing to identify a solution, contract with somebody to make that solution happen? That's strategy. From that, you get your message. From that, you get your position. And from that, you now can create a marketing plan. So just as like point number one, I'm going to tell you a little strategy goes a long way. I like to recommend 90 minutes every quarter, just to go and take a look, is what I'm doing in alignment? Become the chiropractor of your business, right? You've got to take a look at where your gaps are, because if you don't ever do that, then all you're doing is stuff. So The second point, and the second shortcut.
Hang on, before you do it, I want to jump in for a second, if you don't mind. What you just heard was gold. Be the chiropractor of your business every quarter for 90 minutes. You should be writing that down right now. That is gigantic, because it's true. You know, what you just said, Abigail, for that whole session is critical. If you don't know your why, if you don't know what this is all about, then you're gonna jump all over the place. So she's 100% right, and I want to just drive that home, because it is really, really critical. It's like you're preaching to the choir.
And here's the thing: is it's not just not knowing where you're going, but you also have to understand the reason you're going there. So that's why I'm saying you've got to be connected. That's why I'm saying your brand is the soul of your business. You have to be connected to it, because you will struggle. I don't care if you're working with the greatest coach in the world, the greatest program in the world, the best Facebook ad experts or content creators or whatever. If you don't feel it, it's not going to happen. I was just talking to a client earlier today, and I said, and people can't tell you that. You could have the greatest clothing designer come into your house and dress you. But if you don't feel comfortable in what you're wearing, you're not going to leave the house.
That's true. That is so true. Have you ever gone? Yeah, it's a great metaphor.
So I want you to feel this. And, when you're storytelling, your story is only as relevant to your customer as the needs are that they have. So there's a lot of things that we discuss and we go through. We do a really deep dive in the area of brand strategy, because you can tell I love it, And at that point, then we turn our clients over to Tammy, and I call Tammy and the team, because we do have content creators, and we do have technology people, and we do have Facebook ads experts and other organic social media experts that are a part of our team. Because the next thing that happens, and here's the shortcut, you got to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you're out there, again, bright, shiny object syndrome, you're out there paths to nowhere. So with everything that you do around marketing, the goal is to stop the madness, to simplify the process, to automate where it makes sense. Call to actions can be automated. What are you giving? Free download. How are you nurturing your market? And I will tell you that, I know there's various numbers out there, but 20 touches. Like when I started in my career in 1982, people would say after 3 times you're hounding. After 3 times, they don't even know who you are in today's world, right? I called on Hershey Foods for 4 years before I got business. I called on Wyeth, which is a pharmaceutical company, for a year. Every single Wednesday, I called on them before I got business. Persistence, tenacity, little bit of gumption, they go a long way. But you have to know where you're taking them, and you have to know what the goal is. So what that plan is an opportunity for you not to be sitting in front of your computer on Monday morning going, okay, what am I going to say today? That helps you with your content. Your plan helps you see how you're moving people along. We had a client come in after the 38th email. 38. We have about 80 in our bucket of emails.
Wow.
And I'm going to give you a tip. After you get to 50, 40, 50, you can often send the same email, but with a different headline.
You're right.
People aren't going to, they're not going to remember it. So there's a tip for you. You repurpose content wherever possible. You want to show up consistent. If we go back to that dressing metaphor, you want, the top that you're wearing and the bottom that you're wearing to look like they're a part of an outfit, right? Then if you want to get fancy, you want the accessories and all the other accoutrements of fine dressing. But at the minimum, you want your top and your bottoms to at least coordinate. The plan is what helps you do that. And again, I recommend, take that 90 minutes once a quarter, and where have you put things in place that are not working? Where are you putting things in place where you're struggling? The goal of having that plan is you'll start to see gaps. That's really the goal of the plan, is to help you see gaps. Because if you can see gaps, now you have a choice of filling them or not. Can you do them on your own? Can you learn them? Should you outsource them? I'm a fan of outsourcing, not just because we're an agency, but because I don't want to spend time in things that don't bring me joy, that don't make me happy. I will tell you that I love strategy. I can spend all day long with talking strategy. When it gets to implementation, I know enough to be dangerous. And the reason why I do is because I don't have to worry about it. I get to give it to Tammy. I get to send her something and go, oh, this is really cool. Is this good for us? And she'll go, yes or no. I'll look at it or I won't. But she geeks out on that. I geek out on strategy. So the second tip, get a plan. As roughed out as it can be, you will find that once you start the discipline of creating one, once you start, you'll get more and more intricate. It doesn't have to be crazy. Start with one platform, two at the most. Don't feel like you have to touch everything. That overall strategy is going to help you decide how you're bringing leads into your community. The plan is going to figure out also how you're nurturing them as well. Because here's the thing, we need to be marketing 24/7. I hate to tell you that, but it's true. It's like bathing. You got to do it every day, or at least 3 times a week or 4 times a week, whatever your schedule and preference is. Once you stop bathing, there's consequences. Well, once you stop marketing, there's consequences too. So my goal is, to simplify the process. That's one of the reasons why we are huge fans of automated funnels, and we use them for one specific purpose. We are a huge fan of one offer. The Ascension model to me is a crazy model filled with time and effort and content. One program that you can upsell against and downsell against. And we've been doing that for years. So
I love you. That is, it's so renegade, but I believe the same thing. I mean, I can go both ways, but yeah, it's great.
This is it. We overcomplicate what we need to do. And we can't, I often say, I pardon my French, but an ass can only ride one saddle at a time.
That's true.
And I think that might be from Sweet Home Alabama, if I remember correctly, the movie. But, you can have 6 horses in a stable, right? There's nothing wrong that you could have 6 offers. You could have 6 avatars. You can have 6 marketing messages. Not that I recommend that necessarily, but you can only take one out at a time.
Yeah, it's true. I'll give you a little example, and I don't want to take up too much of your time on this because you're on a roll, but I just bought myself a new toothbrush, a new Sonicare, right? And I spent, I don't know, easily an hour figuring out which model of Sonicare I want. Okay. But the bottom line is I'm only using one speed, only one. It's done. What the hell do I need all this crazy shit for? Right. I mean, right. So it's exactly to your point. Focus on that one thing and to be the best at it, and people will want it all day long. So thank you for saying that. That is music to my ears. And at 4:20 in the morning, it means a lot.
It's good music. Well, good. I'm glad. I mean, I remember somebody saying from the stage, if you're going to be a plastic surgeon, be the best nose plastic surgeon or hand plastic surgeon or breast reconstruction plastic surgeon. You want to be known as, whether you only want to work with 10 clients a year and charge them $25,000, or you want to work with, more and charge them $5,000. Be the best. And this is the thing, expertise, while it's really important because it adds to your pedigree and your credentials, it only takes you so far. You've got to have a little bit of a ham, want to be on stage, want to be willing to put yourself out there. And I know, especially, I don't know how old you are, Ken, but I turned 61 on Saturday. My generation was really, at least I was, be seen and not heard.
Yes. And by the way, I can call you young lady and get away with it then.
Yeah, yes, you can. I will not take offense.
No, because I am older. And happy birthday.
Yeah, it's so interesting that we just weren't raised under the lights, the camera lights. I mean, I even did a little bit of modeling as a kid, and you did it, you went home. It wasn't model was your entire career. We weren't raised with the O-rings and the backdrops, as you can see. I mean, just we were raised to go do our work and do it almost quietly because it was the impact that mattered. So to get now into this culture of being online, whether it's words or face or, lives, whatever it is you're doing, you want to make it as valuable as possible and as strategic as possible. So the plan will help you do that. Little strategy goes a long way, and some simple planning goes a long way too. So that's my thing. First two. The third, I'm going to say about really kind of a shortcut that people often forget is that all of marketing is research, plain and simple. So if you are not measuring your results, how do you know what's working and what isn't? If you assume and take a deep breath and go, okay, all of marketing is research. I get that. I am either going to succeed or I'm going to learn. But in order to succeed, I need to know what my goal was, going back to the strategy. And in order to learn, I need to know what the plan was so I can figure out what wasn't working. It could be as simple as there's a link in your funnel that isn't working. It could be as complex as your entire message is off. It's not bringing in the right people. Most business owners will say they have a client problem, right? A client I need more clients. 9 times out of 10, it's the offer, it's the message, it's the positioning, it's the marketing. It's all of those things that leading up to having somebody pick up the phone or schedule an appointment and say, I want to consider working with you. Tell me more. So if you're not measuring your results, some people call them KPIs, key performance indices, or some people call them ROIs, return on investment. Everything you do in marketing requires time, effort, and money. Whether it's money expended to participate in something, or whether it's money lost because now you're giving time and effort. You have to understand time, effort, and money. So the reason why I'm such a fan of outsourcing is for that reason, that I know the effort it will take to learn something relative to implementation is not worth my time. And you've got to be able to step boldly and courageously into the confidence that comes with, I am good at what I do. I've got an offer that will impact and create results and transform. So now I just got to work with more clients. But the missing element of getting those KPIs or ROIs or whatever you want to, however you want to label it, is what am I doing in between? That's what's going to help you figure out how to simplify and be more effective with the amount of time, energy, and money you're expending.
You are 100% right. I got to tell you, I've been taking notes. I don't usually take a lot of notes, but I'm taking a lot. I hope you guys out there are taking notes on this, because you need to be implementing what Abigail's talking about. This is gold, you guys. This is totally gold.
35 years, Ken.
Right.
I've been doing it for 35. Tammy's been doing it for 35. We love what we do. We really do. And, I always get so frustrated when we're talking to a prospect and they say, I've already invested thousands of dollars figuring out my brand. Well, then why aren't you in action?
Right.
Well, because my coach tells me I need to do this. I had this whole long conversation with somebody recently, and she goes, well, I've been doing it for 3 years. I've been following my coach's advice for 3 years. And I said, and how's it working for you? Because you're on the phone with me looking for something.
Right.
So I'm a little bit like a chicken. I don't get subtleties well. I'm pretty transparent. So I'll tell you, like, go and do this if this is what you really want to do, because you're going to play full out if you want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a client who came into my Safari program, and she's like, I want to do an event. And I said, okay, great. She said, how much time should I have for a runway? I said, figure 6 weeks or so, 8 weeks max out to get it right. So she did it in about 2.5 weeks. And it was basically her way of giving me the finger and saying, I'm not waiting, I'm going to do it. And worst landing page ever. I mean, just horrible landing page. The design, not anything what I teach. But son of a gun, she had 8 people show up. She made $18,000. I mean, right. She implemented it, and I can't swear that it's not perfect, but it is. So you're 100% right. Go ahead and get yourself in place, rock on, and call it done. And there you go. It's fantastic. So
well, and here's the thing. Hopefully what your client found was that I wonder what would have happened with a little bit of planning. I wonder what would have happened had maybe is everything integrated and aligned. Maybe if I had started earlier and gone out later, given that lead time Ken recommended, I might have had 28 people show up.
Sure.
Now imagine the possibilities.
Absolutely. But I tell you, but the point is she did it. And what you're experiencing with some of your folks was 3 years with this coach, and where's the results? Not there. Why are you still doing the same thing?
Yeah, well, in this case, I mean, the thousands of dollars this poor woman has spent on marketing, I felt so bad. And she bought some good programs, and she was working with some good coaches. I know the industry pretty well, and part of it was, you get something in your mind, and you're like, I can't do this. I can't call myself a coach. There's a coach out there who says, I hate the word coach.
Yeah.
And then there's somebody else who will, say, well, you shouldn't, you shouldn't tell people what you do because that's a part of your process, not who you are. And I'm like, you know what, though, this is it. For somebody else, it might have worked fine. But for her, she kept on going back fighting. She was always in a resistance mode that wasn't enabling her to really show up like, this is me. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I can help you.
It's crazy time. We have literally about a minute and a half left before we run out of time. No, I'm loving this. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, I tell you, this is like, I'm so grateful. But I know you have a free gift to give everybody. I'm not sure if we have that dialed in. It's going to be on the dashboard. And so you'll be able to access that, everybody, because you want to learn more about what Abigail does. I want to make sure you do stay in touch with this incredible powerhouse, because I tell you, I'm thrilled. I mean, I've got 39 years. You got 36 together. You're looking at nearly a century of in the trenches, real life experience, you guys. It means something. It means something. Yeah. So,
and the fundamentals never change.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. So I've just put the finishing touches. I'm not sure if my VA has gotten this up yet. So it is 7 mistakes. It's www.launchesmadesimple.com. That's our website. But if you go /7 mistakes /, you should be able to download the 7 mistakes most often made. And there'll be some repetitive information in there because they're mistakes. They can be shortcuts, right? Repurposing conversation is what it's all about. But it's a robust, it's a robust piece. So take a look at it. And hopefully you'll.
And I'll have something. And I'll have something on the dashboard for you guys as well. We are totally out of time. I love you. This has been so much fun. And I want to have you back for more, because it's too short. So we got to talk more. You're